Everyone, I just thought hopefully this will help a few people over next year's sailing and this winter sailing, getting kind of like close to the settings that me and Guy are using. I'm not sure, is my blue bag over there? I'll just go and grab a tape measure, then I can show you. Here we go, this should help people replicate it, but the idea is basically got two lots of calibration that we use all the time on our main controls. Main, you can see the little notches in the rope here. Pretty much downwind, we're just off that top knot on the block, and then upwind today we were just below this bottom knot. So for the benefit of the camera, you can see that's 9 inches of travel on this 4-to-1 block. Then I'll wang that on there so you can have a look at where it is, and then after finish you're welcome to come up to the boat and have a play around with it and just feel what the tension kind of looks like. So that's about where we were upwind today. Next for the Cunningham. So the Cunningham, we've actually got our release elastic in the boat down here, and our cascade, our first cascade, is actually in the bottom of the boat. But this block will probably be the same as the block on your boat. You'll either have a double block there with like a 4-to-1 here, or 2 cascades. But in terms of the range of movement on that, obviously this is it kind of like almost completely off there, which is what you're aiming for downwind. And then if you just check this on the camera, so we're probably about 12 inches. So we don't actually have a mark for completely off because that's just slack, but these are the marks where it starts to get tension in, and obviously you can see there's 3 marks there. We had a pretty windy day today, so you can see obviously that top mark, the tension is just starting to come into the sail. And today, obviously in the windiest bits, I reckon we were, kind of into 20 knots. We're on maximum Cunningham, which is just below there.
Put it on, Mozzy.
Yeah, and then hopefully you got a strong crew. So that's it. So today we were actually starting just when it got windy, just to start to ease a bit of kicker again. So our sequencing of our controls is basically we'll go through from no Cunningham, and in light winds we'll always have a little bit of kicker on, a bit more than you'd have downwind, so about here, just to keep the leech tight. And as soon as the boom comes off the centre line, we'll go below 3. Oh dear, it's raining. And then, as it gets windier, we'll work up until we're almost max kicker. Then Cunningham starts coming on. There, Cunningham will come on until we're almost max Cunningham. And then we're max kicker. And then for the last little bit of Cunningham, that's when we start easing kicker again. And that just really twists off the sail. And then the last little bit before we all get soaked, a really good bit of calibration to put on is on your jib for the offsetting downwind. So ease this so that it's a good visual one for the crew when they're in the boat and they're hoisting. Often they'll accidentally grab it or whatever, and then it can take you halfway down the run to get it reset. So we put that on, and I can just ease it to there as you go around the mark. We can measure that on here. So it actually varies a little bit of how easy this jib is depending on what tack setting you are on the front. But that is about 10 inches of sheet out the block for ease downwind. Upwind, I've actually got, upwind it varies hugely, but we've got this splice that comes back near to the cleats. That's what I'm kind of looking at upwind as a reference. This is all into the boat here, but that's just because I've got the jib on it, so there should be a bit more in it. But the range just about held off, so they're the kind of the reference points of how much these blocks should be moving. But if you want to have an actual feel in your hands, then the the boat's not going anywhere, you can grab hold of the control lines, and yeah, that's it basically. No more to it than that. Nice and simple. Pull it on hard and then let a little bit of kicker off when it starts to get stuttery. Thanks. Pardon? On the jib track itself, we sail on three showing all the time, and then we go out when it's windy one more. So actually on the jib, I think we sail generally with a flatter jib than most people, but sheeted outboard, and then we sail with more jib sheet tension, which then pulls the leech back in. So sail, yeah, that's what we're on today, 3, and I think 4 is the highest we go, and then we do go right down to the bottom when it's windy, but then we're sheeting a lot harder, which then kind of pulls the leech back, but you end up with quite a flat jib. But you do really have to crank the sheet on, and it becomes quite temperamental on the jib sheet. Yeah, one thing is a bit of an aside that I'd recommend is you can go to 4-to-1 on the jib sheet, and that helps, not necessarily with you don't need the purchase to actually pull it on, but it makes it more accurate. So we've got a 4-to-1 for that reason. Yeah, that's it.